What is up, Panthers fans? This is the All Angles podcast, and I'm coming out with the first episode of the All Angles podcast. Now, why is it called the All Angles? Well, firstly, we're the only podcast covering, you can call it the All Angles show. I don't know why people call everything podcast now. The All Angles show, I like that better. This is the only show where we cover the Panthers, the team, the roster, the analysis, all that good stuff. Right, the coaches and the stories. But we also cover the 12th man. That's right, the fans. I'm going to be going through Panthers Twitter and Panthers social media, maybe Facebook here and there, to look at the morale of the Panthers, fans, and, the differences in opinions. Because guess what, guys? Some fans love Baker, right? Other fans don't. The Panthers fan base is unique in that there are a plethora of opinions. Now, a lot of other teams may also have that, but we're covering the Panthers here, okay? So this is the only podcast that includes what the fan base is talking about amongst the actual roster and analysis and all that good stuff. So the first thing I've seen, and this happened this week, and I'll probably do one episode weekly so you can get caught up in everything Panthers, right? You're going to learn the roster, but you're also going to see what the voices are behind it and what the opinions are of all the moves. So please follow and subscribe. Anyways.
The people in the basement. The most difficult or the stupidest part? The stupidest part and the most difficult is ever looking at Twitter. Wouldn't that be?
Well, you look at Twitter a little bit too much.
No. You know what?
Steve Smith's.
I like to get the feel of just sometimes you have to read through the.
That's code for too much.
Well, that's probably right. Sometimes though, but you got to get through the people in the basement. So.
The basement dweller. Look at Steve. He's half smiled during that.
So there's a lot of those people, by the way.
Holding it in.
I don't want to listen to those people. I want to listen to you tell us about Baker Mayfield and why he was the guy you brought.
Yo, and this is anybody with a social media, you have to understand that Twitter, along with most social media platforms, but Twitter especially, because Twitter is banter. It's just people talking smack to each other, right? All throughout human history, you went on talking your crap with your friends, whoever, people around you, and you said ridiculous things, right? You just talk stuff you don't even mean. You just say crazy stuff. And that stuff was never meant to be written down and archived in a database somewhere on Twitter for the rest of eternity, okay? The problem is a lot of those random thoughts and comments, people will tweet it out thinking it's either funny or whatever, and then someone reading it doesn't even know this person, misses the context, or just reads it wrong, or just whatever, and all of a sudden, you think everyone literally hates you and wants you to die or whatever. You get in Twitter arguments and you're just like, man, I hate this place. You can't take the stuff on Twitter serious, right? It's just banter. It's just people talking smack, right? With my friends, I will talk smack with my friends and I'll be like, yo, kill yourself, bro, or whatever. Jump off go play in traffic, right? You don't mean any of that. You're just talking crap. Even when you're angry, you'll say crazy stuff and you don't mean it. You're just being extra. You're being extravagant. I'm a very extra dramatic guy and I say crazy stuff just cuz. If I were to tweet half the stuff I say, I'd be canceled 14 times over by 13 different associations. Rightfully so. You know what I mean? So Tepper, bro, you're a billionaire. What you reading Twitter for? Let your social media team or your marketing department do that. You don't need to be in that. Yeah, the fan base lost 2 years straight. Okay, 5 wins in the last 2 years with Matt Rule. Yeah, they're gonna be mad. You don't need to go through Twitter to see how mad everybody is or what cuss words that are using to describe you, right? So I feel for Tepper. I personally like Tepper. He's just an owner. He's learning the trials and tribulations, and hopefully he gets better over time. I think he wants to genuinely make this team better. He's just figuring out the hard way. And it's hard for me to criticize people when they're the one who's making decisions and people talk smack all over Panthers Twitter. And it's dude, we're not even the ones making decisions. It's easy for us to just talk smack. And we know it too. We're just talking that bullcrap, right? That's half the NFL is just talking smack. I'm trying not to cuss, but I'm gonna cuss. Like, talking shit is the best thing the NFL does. Like, me talking shit to my friend who's like an Eagles fan, we just talk shit back and forth. Sometimes we'll talk so much shit, we're literally about to fight each other. Like, it gets that crazy. So you get really invested in the season because of that. But yeah, like, I feel bad for Tepper, honestly, and Rule, because, man, they've got a lot of smack the last 2 years, and the Sam Darnold move was pretty, like, bad. Like, that pissed a lot of people off. But hey, we got Baker. So, it is what it is. And Russell Wilson got $165 million guaranteed. God damn. 5-year, man. That division is ridiculous. Bro, ridiculous. Let's see if we can find some more Panthers content here. Beautiful. Beautiful. That's crispy. I like the white, even though we're wearing too much white this year. Like, most of our games are wearing the white jerseys, even at home. And supposedly it gives you an advantage because of the sun and it deflects sunlight. Look at Cam Newton. All of this footage belongs to the NFL, of course. The Browns have a terrible record. They're week 1. I forget what it is, but they barely ever win week 1. So the odds on that are on our side, but every time I hear those odds, I'm like, oh, well, this must be they can't keep going, right? Like, this must be the week they win it back, right? 10 days, Brian Burns, menacing. I love Brian Burns, okay? He's a great DN, but he's missing that, like, absolute run stopper ability. But he is nasty getting to the quarterback. I'll give him that. But I think the problem with Brian, he's so... Listen, hey, guys, I'm not the one watching these pictures, okay? These are friends and stuff who, like, follow these accounts, all right? For some reason, Twitter recommends this stuff to me. It's ridiculous. Austin Eckler, he's trying to do his best, like, Christian McCaffrey impression, but let's be honest, okay? There's only one Christian McCaffrey, all right? Bro, it's... See, here we go. This is exactly what I'm saying, Joe Ovies. Yo, whoa! What's going on? Ridiculous. Oh, Matt Rule's speaking to the media right now.
All for it, I think anytime we can take young players and especially guys with a ton of talent and put them in our system and get them involved in our process and see what every day there's a lot of noise in here and see what they can do. So
you're a little distracted, my boy. What's going on?
Take it slow and see what he does.
Shaq's presence was noticeable out there today. Obviously, I'm sure the plan is for him to be available week 1.
He's still limited in terms of today. He got up to 5 in a row. I think he had a max of like 25 snaps today or something like that. I could be wrong. He looks good though. He's got fresh legs, so he's flying around. But Shaq's out there. He's kind of the elder statesman, and everything has a different tenor to it. So he's worked hard to get back to this point. So I'm excited.
Do you think he'll be limited week 1?
I don't think he'll be limited. I do think though we like our linebacking core, so we have some different packages. So I think a lot of guys on defense, our goal is not to have them playing.
What happened to Shaq, dude? Why is he so hurt?
Rotating him in because I don't want to see Corey not on the field or Oos or Damian. So I want to play all.
Frankie Louvu.
Sticking on the linebacker core, Phil this morning mentioned how he thinks Brandon could be a starter for you guys at some point. What type of progress has he made as a 4th, 5th round guy to all of a sudden have that expectation?
Yeah, those are Phil words, not mine. And I mean that with the greatest respect. I think we think Brandon has a ton of talent. He's got a lot of really good players in front of him, which I think has really helped his development. When you go in there every day, no one plays as hard on this team. People play hard, but no one plays harder. They might play as hard, but no one plays harder than Frankie Louvu. And so when you see, okay, that's the work ethic, then you see the professionalism of Shaq Thompson, the way he does his business. Then when you see the way that Damian just loves playing football, then you see the way that Corey Littleton, his football intelligence is elite. So you see all these different pieces of each guy, and I think Brandon has really developed. And so he's to me a guy that, as you go through the course of the season and there's injuries and guys get banged up, hopefully they don't, but if they do, he's got the talent to go play. He can cover out of the backfield. I think he'll be an excellent special teams guy.
This is like the question of this Panthers defense, okay? I think every aspect of our defense is good to great except our linebacking core. Now we have Shaq Thompson, who is bona fide. He's legit. He's a stud, okay? He's not a star like a superstar, but he is a stud, right? Besides him, there are a lot of questions in this linebacking core. Now, Corey Littleton, he's good. Better than, the past couple linebackers we've had, Whitehead and such. But Perriman, I don't know. I'm not like wowed with Corey Littleton back there. The problem will be how physical these linebackers are, because in coverage, they're great. We have really good coverage, but Corey Littleton, he's like an old school thumper type, so he might not be the best in coverage. Shaq has that ability to run really fast, but I want him to be even more physical in the run game, and I know he hasn't been pulling punches or anything, but the fact that he's a little injured is a little scary, because we need physicality from the linebackers, all right? We have the most complex defensive scheme in the NFL. Phil Snow, last year, we were number 1 in the amount of different schemes we ran and different packages we ran on defense. Stunts, blitzes. A lot of people say Hassan Reddick is just a nasty guy who's just really good. Listen, Phil Snow schemed up so many sacks for Hassan Reddick. If you're an outside linebacker for the Carolinas, you're gonna get sacks, because we're gonna be running stunts. We're gonna be setting up blocks so that linebackers can clear through lanes. Now the problem is that can be really hard to do against the run, because if you're constantly doing stunts and stuff like this, let's say the gap security breaks down. Okay, the gap discipline breaks down, because to do a stunt, you have to leave your gap, right? So if we're constantly doing stunts, we're constantly doing all this stuff, which are great in third down and get us to the quarterback, get us a lot of sacks. It hinders our ability to just anchor down and stop anyone from moving the line of scrimmage. And that's what the Panthers need to kind of decide of what we need to do. Our personnel is built for stunts, is built for speed. I think our linebacking core is good, but they're still unproven, right? So we're hoping Luvu steps up hard. We're hoping he does, and we think he will. He has the heart, but you never know, right? Playing a lot more games this year than last year, hopefully. Frankie Luvu will. I'm sure he will produce sacks. You're going to see. We're going to scheme it up for him. I hope Brandon Smith ends up being a monster. He looks like it so far. At Penn State, his natural gifted talents are not at all in question. His ability to run fast, his explosiveness, his strength, his agility, none of that is in question. What's in question is right here. Because at Penn State, he looked lost a lot of times. So far, he's played really good. So far, he's playing really lights out. And Penn State linebackers are known. Everyone's been calling him, baby Micah Parsons, but he has that edge. I think he just needed to be coached up a little bit and kind of taught that different NFL mindset of dissecting plays before they happen and just shooting gaps and trusting your instinct. That's so crucial as a linebacker, because if it takes you half a second more to diagnose a play and figure out the run direction to stop a run, or to decide whether to run, blitz or cover a guy, or that half-second step is what costs you your ability to fill that gap, and you're going to get blocked, because the linemen in the NFL are huge, massive, and very athletic, okay? And especially if we're going against pulling guards, and usually, teams like to scheme up plays with their best guards or their best tackles to clear people out. So I'm hoping this year I don't want to be ranked number 1 in terms of schemes and stunts and all that we do. I think it's great. It's a very creative defense. It gets a lot of sacks. But I want to, be able to hold the line more, or at least stop putting so much emphasis in getting to the quarterback and just kind of like just letting the play happen and just holding that line of scrimmage. Now, the opposite is the Eagles, who ran the least amount of stunts and stuff, and all they do is basically 4-3, cover 2, cover 3. Like the most basic defense. They ran the least amount of different concepts, schemes, plays, and they just rush 4 over and over and over again, which is fine in the regular season. It's really effective. In the playoffs, people, good coaches will find. That's why in Tampa Bay they got destroyed, because they had the most simple defensive scheme and Tom Brady ripped them apart. Like it was to him, it was just, cover 2, easy, boom, cover 2. Right, with the Panthers, I'd rather us be more creative than not, but some plays we really just need to focus down and just hold the line of scrimmage and be simple. Some plays, right? And now we have Frankie Louvu, who we were talking about, in a green jersey, which he is limited. That doesn't bother me whatsoever. CJ Saunders back on the Panther squad. I like CJ Saunders. He's not an NFL athlete, it seems, but he can make plays. He's a baller and all that, but he's just kind of small. I'm not sure how fast and how good he is at getting separation, but he's the type of guy who knows the play, who you're not going to worry about, who's very consistent, who brings a work ethic and all that. I mean, maybe he proves me wrong, but I like him at the practice squad. That's a good player to have there. And Sam Darnold on IR. Hopefully we don't need him. I don't like Sam Darnold at all as a starting quarterback, but as a backup quarterback, we could do worse, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Like, the one thing a backup quarterback should not do is throw interceptions and fumbles, and that's all Sam Darnold tends to do. So maybe even as a backup quarterback, he might not be that good. But either way, I do want him to get back, because if Baker goes down, I would honestly rather have Sam Darnold out there than PJ, even though I like PJ and all that, but he's like Sam Darnold with even more happy feet. But at least he can run, right? And look at this dome of the practice squad, or the practice field here in Carolina. They put this dome over here. Very interesting. Jacob Eason, the new guy we got, huh? But we'll see. We'll see what this Panthers team has for us. A trade with the Browns. Yeah, that's just random. Would be a solid addition to our young wide receiver group. Listen, I don't know about TMJ, man. I don't know if he can get any separation. He's like a big body, but he's good against, like, I don't really know. I feel like just gain weight and become a tight end or something. I don't know. I'm like trying to figure out what this dude is all about. Let me put him up here. And this will be the last thing we do. Like, this is him in college, right? We all know Just Bomb Productions. Like, anytime somebody gets drafted, we're watching their highlights. So you got to keep in mind, this was an unbelievable team, right? That Joe Burrow had with Jamar Chase, all these crazy good receivers. Justin Jefferson, like, this was the most loaded freaking team like I've seen in a long time in terms of a passing offense. So you have to factor that in with Terrace Marshall Jr.'s the production he had, because as good as it was in college, and it was pretty good, like, a lot of times his matchup wasn't the number 1 corner or number 2 corner even, because you had massive superstars and on this offense. But I like his aggression. I like how he goes up to get the ball. I haven't seen it in the NFL, and I'm hoping it's because of Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold had that effect. Listen, 1 year with Teddy Bridgewater, not that good of a quarterback. Robbie Anderson gets 1,000 yards. Then last year with Sam Darnold, he barely gets 700 or 600. So maybe the same will happen with Terrace Marshall. Like, I'm not saying he's going to have a 1,000-yard season, But like, I would love to see Terrace Marshall just improving, like just maybe 500-yard season. And the next year he has 700, 800, 900. Like, he's not a super explosive guy like DJ Moore is. And that's really what the differentiator is in NFL football. Your ability to just in 2 steps be past a corner, like their fastest corner. That's what DJ has. DJ is so fast. Like, he's not just fast, he's like fluid with his hips. So like, he can turn real quickly and it looks like he's walking in slow motion, but he just gets by people, where Terrace Marshall does not have that instinct or that inherent talent. But I still think he can contribute really good. He's a big body receiver, so he really needs to dominate in like jump balls and just throwing the ball high and having him get it over the smaller DB next to him. That's what he needs to do. Leave the crossers to Laviska Shenault or DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson, who are super fast. They're great at crossers, and just put hole shots with Terrace Marshall, some fade routes, some longer posts where he can just post up a single high safety and just grab the ball over him. That's where you're going to see Terrace Marshall succeed, but I haven't seen, to be honest with you, that dog in him. I haven't seen it. He's given me some plays in the NFL, but like, I haven't seen it though. And this is his most current highlights with the Colts. And PJ, look at PJ. PJ is way too, like, that was a great move, and like, that's great. You're wide open against, whoever the Colts are playing here. And that's a good play. I like that, right? I still see a lack of explosion. I mean, you're getting hawked by these corners, right? And those are not starting corners. But look at this. PJ, right here. Just turn right and look at him and throw it. Or look here, throw it. You don't need to. Look, right here, he panics. He puts his eyes down. He's doing basketball crossovers out here when you should be staring downfield. He's looking at the sideline right here. Like, that should never happen. Now, he gets out of it because he's good enough to do that and all that. It's a great pass. But, like, that's the problem with PJ. He panics. He doesn't go down, right? Like, he should be doing read 1, read 2. No read 2. Just goes. Read 1 isn't open? Okay, I'm out. That's the problem. You have to trust the pocket a little bit, PJ. Even if it's bad, you have to trust the pocket, or else you're not going to make the deep throws that, starting quarterbacks make. Starting quarterbacks in the NFL that are good, they sit there and they go through at least 2-3 reads, at least. Unless you're Jalen Hurts and after the first read you can run for 10 yards because you're that good at running, then hey, whatever. But that's all we got today. I just want to talk about, the linebacking core, the situation with Terrace Marshall. I mean, look, I don't know, like, that's just bad defense. Like, I'm not going to give this like, oh, wow, Terrace Marshall, that was a great route. It was just bad defense. Like, look at this. Look at this, man. Like, that corner is lost. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I know what he's doing. So this is a high-low concept. There's actually a running back here. You see him? So this guy is now responsible for this running back and Terrace Marshall. But Terrace Marshall should have already known that, and he should have been here like a second and a half ago. And his body was turned the wrong way, right? You want to be upfield with your body facing in. So as soon as you catch this ball, you're off to the races. But like, I don't know, it's a little awkward. And the corner ends up hawking him, so. And this is just, a decent little pass here, nothing really to see there, but it's hard to get good tape out here with the defense they're playing. But anyways, that's been the All Angles podcast, guys. Please follow, like, subscribe. I'm going to be putting stuff out at least once a week, catching everybody up. I didn't see a lot of the Panthers YouTubers and all that. I follow everybody, Pat Coltrane, C3, Cat Crave right here on Monty, like, I don't know, Sheena, Joe Person, but even on YouTube, I watch all the podcasts. Unnecessary Bluntness, that guy from Canada, I forget his name, Panthers Post, a bunch more. Okay, I can't name all of them at the moment, but Julian Council, the new guy from Locked On. I like Julian a lot too. Locked On podcast. It's like a kind of a higher budget type of thing where every team has daily content. It's okay. It's pretty good. He's an informative guy, though. I feel like he's constantly like, oh, I don't want to work. Which it's like, dude, do you love the Panthers, or did they just pay you to be a Panthers person to cover? Which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying get your bag, bro. But like, sometimes I wonder if you're a true Panthers fan. Sometimes. Hey, Laviska. That's another video, man. I'm gonna talk about this guy and what to expect. Some people think he's amazing, other people don't. I just think both sides are a little bit true. Yeah, both sides are right. He is amazing when he gets the ball in space and there's no one around him. Yeah, he'll truck him out. This dude has body count. Okay, he will truck you into oblivion, but he's not that good at getting open. So that's the problem, right? Everyone's talking about, oh, Deebo Samuel light. No, not even close. Because Deebo Samuel is 3 times as explosive, much quicker. This guy has a hard time getting open. And when he does get open, he'll either drop it or catch the ball and truck somebody hard and get a first down. So I think he's a decent pick at wide receiver 4. You know, it gives us a little bit more flexibility when doing kind of new plays. We can catch people off guard, throw screens at him, put him a running back, put him out 5-yard crossers. But other than that, I wouldn't use him too much more than that, right? But anyways, it's been the All Angles podcast. Follow, like, subscribe. Drago and Dre, I'm out.